Scoot up.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ladies and gentlemen,
Live from the internet, it's co-host with Creany and the Gipper, Gary Peterson's album release version. Woo!
we've got a live band for the very first time. We've got a lot of friends on the old docket. Hey, we're sounded hot there. Alan Richardson and Matt are part of the new house band, Rob, that I've hired. Let me be the first to introduce Gary and the Petersons.
Hey, Gary, great to be here. Thanks for having us, Gary.
You guys really made this a special day. We're here to interview some of our friends that have helped with this project that I was able to release today, October 17th, 2020, a day that will live in infamy. Today is my first comedy album, Yellow Belt Confidence. Thank you. Took 5 years, but we got it done. Alan Richardson and Matt from Dead Mellow are here as the house band. Just want to throw to them for a second. Thank you for being so supportive and helping with this project.
Hey, Gary, absolutely. I'm glad that you hopped on to our label with us on Dead and Mellow, man.
It's a real pleasure.
I put up my albums previously on Dead and Mellow.
Yeah, Rob Crean's got some albums here. They're all selling like hotcakes. We got a real regular pancake factory going on here. Go ahead.
Now, whose album would you say is selling better, just in terms of
Well, I don't think it's really fair to compare. I
don't mind sharing the numbers. I'll share them all right now.
It's not really.
Let me answer that in a song here. Now you know.
Yeah, that answers that.
I have a sneaking suspicion that even though I have 2.5 albums out with Dead and Mellow, you probably sold more before your album came out than I have the entire time my 3 releases have been available. Maybe I'm wrong, but
yeah, it's
not arguing with me.
So. Right. You didn't get in a comedy to make money. I did.
The point is, everyone forgets I got an album or 3 out on Dead and Mellow as well.
I was supposed to be a genius.
Yep, and then I got Buttlegger Volume 1 and 2.
Sad Man.
We got that as a little secret album. You got to find that one.
You got lots of stuff.
But you know what? Today we're all celebrating Gary's birthday today.
Gary, yeah.
Happy birthday, Gary.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's a really special day.
The darkest days of my life.
One of the hardest days of Alan's life. I mean, well, the band is part of the contract.
Mm-hmm. Part of getting Gary onto this label was Matt and I had to sign on to be his house band for anywhere between 6 to 42 years. We had to move into this lovely little kind of shack-like house he had us move into. So do I miss my family? Sure. But is it worth it? Yeah, we got Yellow Belt Confidence out there to the world. And, if we die, then we got next to kin set up with a marionette clause. They're going to keep our band together for Gary.
Even in death, the band has to perform at my beck and call.
Speaking of beck and call, 1, 2, 3, go!
Look out, Beatles.
We killed 2 and we'll kill the rest.
Oh my God.
You should not admit to that.
That's all right. Murder's only got like a 40-year stat,
Trying to get out of this contract. I see how it goes.
Alan doesn't look that different than the guy that shot John Lennon. And we don't know who killed George Harrison. I mean, easily.
Yep.
It was Matt. He raised his hand.
Matt went and slid inside George Harrison's body and killed him from the inside there. I have read 1 or 2 books in my life exactly. And that one book I read that have some ideas about John Lennon. You know what I'm saying? 2, 3, 4.
Not only is the content of the album fantastic, but the cover is just absolutely beautiful.
We have the artist here, Katie Baker. Round of applause, everybody. Unbelievable.
Hello.
I am your muse, and you are the hand that brings me to life.
Yes.
I love this album cover, and I wanted to check in with you to thank you for your patience and all this, and dealing with Rob especially.
I don't think that was much of an issue.
How many in-person Apple Store-like meetings did he run during the pandemic?
I don't know, but one time I did see him, and like not only did he not stay 6 feet away, but he shoved me, and he just like kind of shoved me down some stairs, and it just I don't know, and it wasn't really cool.
Just look at the album cover. I mean, just the results speak for themselves.
Yeah, true.
Well, that is fair. That is very whiplash of you, Rob. Katie, your rates were reasonable 5 years ago. I don't think I can afford you now. What are you doing an hour now?
$10, but the thing is, I won't really factor in the times that I'll make many attempts of something. Like, for example, the Death by Comedy podcast logo that I did. I just did so many extra planes. Like I can run again, but like where really, since I'm only like designing one cover, it's like so that I have to factor in, and it's like there's a kind of like ghost rates, but they're going up because then it's like the inevitability that I have to make something several times in order for it to, or just be like, no, this isn't working. So that's why there were 2 planes, because one had to be abandoned and crashed.
Yeah, but I have a podcast with an actual funny co-host, Chris Walsh.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, well, people
don't listen to it. It's not funny.
It's more about truth telling. It's all about the miseries of comedy that you endure on the road, and it's quite fun to reminisce in a bad way. But yeah, it's just sort of a palate cleanser instead of this type of show.
All right, well, let's keep on topic of your album.
It was a palate filler.
The album is fantastic. I think the jokes are so great, and I think people probably all are wondering, how do you come up with your ideas? How does something go from being just an idea in a notebook to being a solid, complete Gary Peterson joke?
Support from friends like you, family, just writing everything down, every little thing. But, I look for the funny, and, there's no magic or tricks to it. It's just hard work. And
no magic, no tricks. Hey, sorry to interrupt here. My ears were burning. I could hear Gary starting to thank everyone, and yeah, I just knew my name was probably coming up pretty soon.
Gary, are you going to introduce us to your friend?
I knew this day would come.
Come on, don't be shy. Listen, you all probably heard of me. You can call me Lord Lucifer, Satan, Beelzebub, the Diavol, whatever you love. The Diavol. I got to watch my back around you. You guys are going to give it to me. I'm sorry. I'm really busy with, the election and everything going on here, but I just wanted to pop up and, wish congratulations to Gary on the new album. It's really topping the charts up in hell. Everyone is loving it, man. Hitler, Jack Ruby, the new guy, Epstein, he won't stop talking about it.
All right.
Hitler loves your album, Gary. 2, 3, 4.
I guess I'm flattered.
Yeah.
Lord Lucifer. Can I
Please.
call you Luce?
Yeah, please. No, hey, everyone does.
I guess I never thought that I would have to face you in the arrangement that we made.
Yeah, this is my least favorite part of the job, if I'm being honest. As much as I'm happy to congratulate you and share, in the happiness of this day, we do kind of have to get down to business. I kept up my end of the bargain. I have arranged it so you have just an amazing top-level comedy album. And I think it's time, you keep up your end of the bargain, if you know what I mean.
Can I at least say goodbye?
That's I don't want anyone to think that I'm unfair or anything. I'll give you a chance to say goodbye before.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gary's goodbye segment.
Thank you, boys.
Oh no, Gary, you sold your soul to put out your comedy album? I know that the world needs laughter now more than ever, but it's not worth your soul, Gary.
Ooh,
Gary, you're too good. The world deserves you, but it deserves you without you giving away your soul.
Rob, I very touched by your words, but I think you get it.
Yeah, it's
a little
bit off
confused.
there, pal. Yeah, it's
I missed something.
the contract did call for one human soul, but Gary didn't sell his. So I don't know if you want to start saying your goodbyes or okay.
I'll tell him. Rob, remember you told me that you'd always be there for me and you go the distance. Remember we were at 7-Eleven? You said like, yeah, I'll do anything for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I sold your soul to the devil.
Well, I don't think that was
that's me.
Anything. You sold my soul to the devil?
You said you would do anything for me. Was it an empty gesture or what? Like this whole vegan thing?
Ouch. Oof, that's gotta hurt, man.
Here's some music for processing hard news.
So, Rob,
how is that even allowed? That doesn't seem like that should be allowed. That doesn't seem like that should be legal.
Well, I mean, it's it's not like we're talking about a land deal here. I mean,
are there contracts and stuff like in movies? People always have to sign contracts and stuff like that.
Yeah, Gary signed a contract forfeiting your soul for one comedy album.
Of course.
Sold someone else's soul.
I mean, he signed it. There's a notary public and everything. So I don't know what to tell you, man. I hope you maybe got some warm clothes. Hope you like hosting open mics because we got.
I like hosting open mics, but that.
I know I did promise you his soul, but I believe the contract does state before taking said soul an evaluation of property is due process.
Okay, fine. You got me. What we can do is I can do a quick soul evaluation on our good friend Mr. Creany here to decide exactly how much his soul is worth. And I guess if it's something you guys can afford and maybe you want to buy it back, we can kind of take it from there. Does that sound good to you guys?
I think it's fair.
That sounds like a good deal. 2, 3, 4.
I mean, none of this sounds good to me, but I guess go ahead.
Okay. So first, can I get your full name, please?
Robert Aloysius Creany.
It's your actual name?
Yeah.
All right. And your age, I'm thinking early to mid 60s. Is that about right?
No, I'm 42.
Oh dear God. Okay.
kind of a hard life.
Yeah, you ain't kidding, buddy.
I just have white hair. People say that I look pretty young other than my white hair.
Yeah, okay.
Close look at Whitey.
Your occupation?
Well, I'm kind of between entertainer by trade, but I'm unemployed now.
Okay. This might sound a little harsh, but if I were to drag you down to hell right now, would anyone miss you?
Well, yeah. Well.
I think just the fact that you kind of had to wait is not usually a great sign.
Like there used to be restaurants that I would go to on a regular basis, but because of the quarantine, I haven't really been in a while. So I guess maybe when the quarantine was lifted, they might be like, "What happened to that guy?"
Yeah. Okay. Now this might seem a little odd, but when you buy your clothes, do you buy them in like a regular man's section or?
No.
All right, can you tell me where you purchase your clothes then?
In the puppet section.
Can you speak up?
I'm sorry, yeah, a little louder, please.
I buy my clothes in the puppet section. I buy them in the puppet section.
Oh my God. Yeah, this is not looking great. I'll be honest with you. I've been writing everything down in my little book of the dead here. I'm just gonna add some numbers real quick. Let's see if we'll just deduct 7 pounds here, divide that by 666, and okay, looks like your soul is worth about $3.50.
$3.50.
Yeah.
American?
Oh yeah, everything in hell is American.
Makes sense.
So if you have the $3.50, you can give that to me, and I can give. I don't have to take your soul.
Did you take Venmo?
Luce,
Yeah.
for the sake of, sparing my friend a little bit of toil and trouble, I do have something I think that might interest you.
Go on.
I have a dog costume hat and a 2-day-old pizza from Pinocchio's in Pasadena.
Okay, shut your beautiful mouth right now. I'll take it.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't even have to. I'm just gonna. Oof! I'm so excited. Yeah, I'm bringing that right down to hell with me right now. This is fantastic. You're lucky one, Creany. You should really thank Gary for being such a good friend here. You really saved your butt. Yeah.
So I have my soul back.
If you want it, sure.
Yeah. I was still using it.
There's no evidence of that to me here, but yeah, okay. Feel your butt real quick. You should see it back in there.
Is it there, Rob? Is it in your butt?
Feels the same. I don't know.
Yeah, that means it's working.
Thank you,
Cool.
Lucifer.
Yeah, no problem.
Fallen Star,
Yeah.
Beelzebub, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Play 'em
And
out,
that's
boys.
a bit about saving your friend's soul.
It was scary for a minute.
I really thought that you'd sold your soul, and then turns out you sold my soul. And well, you guys,
Technically, we own both your souls, I believe.
was that part of the contract?
Yes, it
Oh,
was.
yes, it was.
Yeah.
And this is a little song about fine print. 2, 3, 4.
Fine print reading. Don't click it. I like that tambourine. It really kind of adds that, lemon zest to the musical taste.
I'm all about that rind.
Our next guest was the music buyer for Great Scott, where I did the gas show for 14 years, where you recorded this album. And right now he's currently working to get Great Scott relocated to the old H.H. Richardson train station in Alston. Please put your hands together and give a warm welcome to Carl Lavin.
Woo! Nobody but Rob Green would try to identify a train station by the architect.
Yeah, everyone else just calls it Pizzeria Regina.
There's
That's what
probably
the sun says.
a dozen ways to better identify it than what you did, but that's fine. I think we all know now.
I got a letter from someone talking about the idea of Great Scott relocating there, and she kept saying, it's going to be weird to have shows with a train going by, and it's not an active train station. It's way further from the train than the old Great Scott.
Right. Yeah. So we don't have to worry about hand dryers, but then when the 9:15 to Albany goes screaming by or whatever, like, yeah, all right. Well, what do we do now, Rob?
Go to Amtrak and say, would you
just
pushing it?
let's just get some hand towels and some signs on the dryer and see if we can keep the trains from being quiet.
Every single week, 2 open micers that are hoping to get on the gas later are just moving a couch onto the track at different locations.
That's your flyering is just domestic terrorism.
God bless the USA.
The Pizzeria Regina there, I have one of the weirdest dates of my life on, and I hope you can address this problem, Carl.
Don't need to hear it. It's a promise.
Thank you. I'm going to tell it anyways. I went on a pizza date with a lovely young lady, near same age as me. Why young lady? That's creepy. We were eating, and from the kitchen, a mouse came out, and I saw it, and I was like, did I see it? And then it came out again and kept going back and forth into the kitchen, almost like he worked there. Oh, I forgot the soup. It was like back and forth, back and forth. We had already ordered. I flagged down our server. I don't want to make a problem, but there's a mouse that keeps coming out of the kitchen. They said, we're near the train tracks. Would you like to sit in a different room? I didn't want to make trouble, so I said, okay. I wish the different room was in a different restaurant, but we just moved to a different table where 2 mice interrupted us, running and chasing each other. The manager came over. I heard about what you saw. I want to let you know we're near the train. I hope you enjoy your meal. Did not compass anything.
First of all, we're near the train. It doesn't make sense because, as mentioned before, it's not an active train station.
Right.
It's not that close to the train. Second of all, every restaurant has mice. Just most restaurants have crafty mice that you won't ever see because they're too smart. You're lucky this restaurant had dumb mice that were easy to see.
Most mice are under a chef's hat controlling him.
I don't think you deserve to have anything comped. You just you have
are you
good
sure
keeper
you were in Alston and not in Paris?
Carl, if you were in charge, I want to know what you would have done.
Well, so I would say that certainly under those circumstances, mice would be the fourth on our list of problems.
This is what I think that the waiter should have said. Thank you for telling me. Actually, no, first the waiter should have said, ma'am, are you okay? Second, the waiter should have said, thank you for telling us, and then that would have been it. Thank you for telling us. You just say that all night to anyone that mentions the mice. Oh, thank you for telling us.
I'm not satisfied with your answer, Rob.
Well, I think here's the thing. See, if I see a mouse in this house, it's going to make me up, scream, and shout and say, what's all this mouse business all about? So I get a man with a suit say, can you do something about this Canadian mouse called Ratatouille? It's making me go, ooey, ooey. Get that mouse out of this house. This is Alston. That's where the rats live, baby.
Wow. Spoken like a man who watched The Cat in the Hat every day for a year.
Katie Baker as manager of Pizzeria Regina.
I'd probably just get in your face and be like, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? And do you want me to get on my hands and knees and get the mouse myself?
I'd respect you for it.
So I think what I would do is I would look you in the eyes and say, I am so sorry. This is unacceptable. You will not see these mice ever again. And then your eyeballs would fall out of your head. It would be like an ironic torment, you know?
Now that's a zinger.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you noticed that I popped in to give my amazing answer. I'm so sorry that this has happened. Let's give you a free dessert. And the dessert would be chocolate mousse, but it's actually chocolate mouse made of the mouses.
Someone give that mouse a cookie.
So you're welcome.
I mean, it's just like, I promise you, I want to care about mice, guys. And I promise you I might. As long as they're smiling and, you know, they've got a devil-may-care, sir,
Thank you.
attitude. I feel like it'll probably be okay if everyone just kind of just loosens up.
I'd like to say Gary started out by saying that he went on a date. It was a pizza date. Gary, have you ever been on a date that was not a pizza date?
Oh,
I respectfully refuse to answer under the Fifth Amendment. Great, Scott. You're making good progress, though. Is there anything we can do to help?
The best thing we can all do is talk about the fact that there is a uncontrollable rodent infestation over there, so that I can pass this video on over to the landlords to know exactly what I'm up to, instead of really just nailing down the business plan and tightening up the financials.
Can I share a quick anecdote about how the parking there is a little bit difficult?
You know, I heard something that the real estate agent only deals with whites. Now, I just heard that through my sister who's been in the business for years.
Here was my experience. Positive. It really, really worked out for me when I walked in.
Every restaurant has mice. Every realtor in Boston is racist. These are just normal things.
Both things are 1,000% true.
Gary just thinks these things are unusual.
I mean, it's Boston, so racist. And then mice in restaurants, of course.
That's what
so
it is.
He's really, really on to something. And it must be wonderful to be out in the paradise out there where there are no racists or mice.
Los Angeles, California.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all the mice in Los Angeles have burned up in the fire. So
not here in Boston. We keep them barefoot and in the kitchen.
Yeah, I mean, mice. Yeah, it would be weird if the mice had shoes on.
Just hats, baby. That's Ratatouille.
Carl, what are the structural problems with the new venue that you are most concerned about?
I'm glad you asked without me having heard this question like a day ago.
I
So
heard no bathrooms or none at all.
I think it's the rafters, you guys. I genuinely think. Now, Rob,
Yes.
as you have spent up to 15 to 20 minutes of our time together talking about how it's an H.H. Richardson.
You guys know H.H. Richardson's out.
Richardson's a great family.
Guys know Alan Richardson's Mellow Records.
Trinity Church. The acoustics. I mean, you guys. So, obviously, Rob, you've been to the Gas like 8 times, and Gary, you've been there like 150 times. So, the acoustics at Great Scott were great because it made everything sound loud and funny. And so when we moved the Gas to over to the new space, I really got to figure out how we're going to be able to manipulate that.
Yeah.
We often reference this, the early days of when you and your comedy troupe, I think they were called the Kids in the Hall. We were playing next to a Golden Tee machine. Guys were heckling us with Miller High Lifes, but we were able to build a show.
I've said this with Rob before. If the Golden Tee guys were funnier,
Yeah.
It would be like, oh my God, what a rite of passage. It could be, Joe Mike, I made it,
Yeah.
But it was like, no, we're just kind of just always everybody's pain in the ass that just like we already put our quarters in and we're not stopping until the game's over.
I always wanted them to be like a Townie, Statler, and Warloff, but they just never quite.
Great guys. I just but I really, really wish it was that. I wish they were that kind of a thing and that part of the experience back then. If they knew that, they would probably try to. And it would have been worse because they didn't have it in them. But I just think it's a testament to what, Rob, you were able to do over there, and Matt Wilding to a certain extent.
I need to focus on my work.
It's probably my favorite thing that I did over there. I just loved it, and I'm gonna get like I might even get a little emotional here. I'm proud to be part of this, and very happy for Gary right now.
And so, of course, Gary recorded his album 5 years ago at Great Scott. Now, Carl, are there things that you're concerned didn't age well over the last 5 years that you'd like to bring up to Gary?
Looking at your forehead, Gary.
It feels like everything's gone exactly how we thought it was going to go over the next, 5 years ago. We were like, all right, maybe it'll be Hillary, maybe it'll be another guy, but everything will probably be the same. So no big deal. I wouldn't really sweat it too hard. And if you thought you wanted to get this album out in 2 years, I can see it, but maybe give it 5 years, and we'll see how that goes. So
who would have guessed when you were recording that album that the entire country would fall apart, that the air would be poisoned, California would be on fire, every business that you like would close?
These are the things we do for our talent here at Dead and Mellow. 2, 3, 4.
It's tough to think back then.
I guessed it.
Who is that guy?
That's our next guest. I didn't tell you about him?
No.
I don't want to interrupt Mr. Lavin.
Gary, I'm sorry. This is our next guest. I think a lot of people are going to be offended by Gary's album. And people will actually be offended. Not like the Bill Burr SNL thing where you just saw people talking about how people were offended, but didn't see anyone that was actually offended. And
Put me at the top of that list, buddy.
People are actually offended by Gary's album. Please welcome Sean Flanagan.
Steve Martin is right, Gary. I'm pissed about this album. You don't hold your laughter, Lavin. He's over there holding his laughter. He's got his hand over his lips, and he's already on mute. It's not a guy I'd want running my dojo.
Well, Carl's a good friend, Sean. I don't want you to attack my friend Carl.
Oh, now you're sticking up for people. I see. You offend people whenever it benefits you, and then you stick up for people when you might get a comedy show when you go back east. Great. Gary, you know what? I got a bone to pick with all of you guys.
Okay.
Ooh, remind me. What's the title of your album again?
Yellow Belt Confidence.
Yeah?
Yeah. I see you got one. That's
Oh,
great.
good. I'm glad you invited me. I'm glad your good friend Tom Hanks invited me on the show so that I could ask you personally why you got a bone to pick with yellow belts.
I've practiced martial arts for a number of years, and it's this idea that you start to do martial arts and you get one belt. Your first belt is typically yellow. You think you're better than you really
I'm going
are.
to stop you right there, Gary. Your first belt is typically white. We all know this.
Yeah, like everybody gets a white belt for walking through the door, but you earn your yellow belt.
Not in my system.
You have a system.
Yes, I have a system. At the yellow belt at the top, as you can see, I'm a master. White is in the middle.
How does your system go?
We start no pants.
Yeah.
So you'd come in off the street, no pants, no shirt, boxer shorts, okay, because we are working with juveniles mainly, people who have had problems in and out of the system. I'm trying to teach them about respect and not disrespecting people, Gary.
Okay.
And then you earn your pants.
Yeah.
Okay, that's number one.
I'm sorry. You said you don't get like a gi and a uniform to start?
Oh, no, you earn parts of the gi. So it would go with pants first, and then eventually the white belt would come after the socks. Pants individually, each one sock.
Socks? Do you wear
Who was
socks?
that? Who said that?
I said that.
You said that?
I don't. Do they wear?
Okay, well listen closely, Richard Gere, because you're gonna learn something. Pants. Then you get your white belt, and then long after that, you're gonna get a gi top.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then eventually you will earn the master's belt.
Yep.
Okay.
Belt, socks, top, yellow belt.
And pants.
Got the pants.
Can't have pantsless karate men running around out there.
Right, yeah.
It'd be silly.
Pants, white belt, socks, top, yellow belt.
You
Is that
got
right?
it now.
Okay.
Yeah.
In your system, is the yellow belt the highest?
It's
rank
the
you can
highest it
be?
goes.
Okay. I see.
Okay, so yellow belt is top of the heap. So Gary, you would have been done long ago. But it's not about me. I shouldn't have to defend my system. Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah. Do you think?
Can't even see it. That's how fast it is. All right. They have to get. I would need to get the Jet Li camera in order to see my moves. All right. And that Jet Li camera is a good 20 years old because he hasn't even been in a movie in about a decade.
That's right.
But more importantly,
Street.
Gary, this is where my bone begins and ends with you. Okay, because you go with
Talk
yellow
about your
belt
bone.
comedy,
Here
and you
comes
could have
the
named
bone.
it. You could have named your album any number of things. Okay, Gary. I got a couple of examples here. You could have just called it Do's and Don'ts, which was the first track. You
Yeah.
could have
Great
called it
track.
Speed Skater Blues, or you could have called it Bald Guy, but only on the top of my body. Thought that was a decent one.
Is that what
I hate fudge, but it loves me. As you
Okay.
can see, I listened to most of the album so I could find your weaknesses.
So I have weaknesses now.
Yes.
I mean,
yes,
I
mostly
think we have-
comedically.
oh, wow.
Oh, this is another one I just came up with. Barely better than Golden Tea.
It's fair.
Okay, it's a
you
reference
mean,
to
Golden
Great
Eye?
Scott. I got comments coming at me fast and loose here. Who said that?
Is he better than Golden Eye?
Oh, no, nothing's better than Golden Eye.
It's fair.
that the
To that,
devil?
we both agree. Lucifer, do you have a question for Sean Flanagan about his system?
Yeah, sure. I got a question. So let's say you're at the movie
I'll fight the
theater.
devil.
So let's
Get in
say
my common horse stance. You go ahead, devil.
yeah. So I guess my question is, let's say you're at the movies with your girl, and there's some guy up front who's being real loud, just a real jerk about everything, and your girl's kind of looking at you like she wants you to, hey, maybe do something about this, and you yell at the guy, and then he kind of stands up, and he turns out to be made completely out of bees. Like, what would you do in that situation?
That's easy enough, devil. I train in the forest sometimes, and every once in a while I like to punch a bee's nest.
Okay.
I lose every time. I'd turn around, I'd go out and I'd get some popcorn or something, and you're just gonna have to let her go. Nobody can beat bees.
Okay, so losing is part of the system.
I'm a
sometimes?
yellow belt. I'm not an idiot.
Okay.
Here
Gary-
comes the candy man.
Gary just got stung by a bee the other day. He had a fat hand for a while. Is
You
your hand
see
back?
what I'm saying? Even Gary can't beat the bees.
That's true. I'm on steroids currently, and I want to play a lot of baseball.
I don't know if you've noticed this, but he thinks a little highly of himself. He talks down about yellow belts, and yet he still gets defeated by bees.
Do you want to settle this somehow?
Yeah, I would
Sean?
love to settle it, Gary. You know what? I challenge you. That's right. So
Okay.
I think what we should do is we should meet up on the 7th day after COVID's over at the top of the nearest mountain. Okay? We'll put it in blood, Gar.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay.
I'm not gonna slit my hand. Can I send you a DocuSign?
You meet me at the Getty, Gary.
We'll fight atop the Getty
The
Museum.
7th day after COVID's over, okay, pal?
Getty
We'll
Lee
meet in the
Mountain.
Museum. This got a lot worse than I thought it would.
Oh my gosh. Are
Um,
you okay?
Yeah, Sean's gonna have to sit down.
Yeah. Apply pressure and elevate your hand if you can.
Okay. Yeah, that was.
Use your belt. Tie it off like a tourniquet.
Don't save your enemy, Mr. Peterson.
well-
we got to defeat him.
You're right. If there's anyone I want to be taking medical advice from, it's Jamie Lee Curtis.
What?
Which one of us is that?
It's Gary's partner, Jamie Lee Curtis. It's
What?
talented lady. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little woozy here.
I forgot to tell you, Rob. I married Jamie Lee Curtis over the weekend.
I was talking about that guy you just referenced.
Wait,
We will
Alan?
settle this. Be sure of that, Gar.
Sean Flanagan, ladies and gentlemen, checked out his martial arts school. Is it on Zoom? Are you teaching on Zoom exclusively?
Yes. Well, until I can reopen my dojo, which is next to a Dave and Buster's.
No, that's a good location.
It's kind of loud.
Sensei
but,
Flanagan?
Flanagan.
If you die on this show, would that be like you die by comedy?
I think it might.
It would be like death by comedy?
Comedy, yeah.
That sounds like something everyone should Google.
I think you think about as highly of the show as Gary thinks of his comedy, his album.
Oh!
Sean Flanagan, ladies and
Is that
gentlemen.
Santa Claus, I heard?
We have one final.
I have a surprise actually for you, Gary. If you
Oh
don't mind.
boy.
Our friend Matt Watson wanted to do something to celebrate the release of your album, and so he made you a video. So
Oh wow.
here's.
I've not seen this. This is so I don't know what.
It's gonna be exciting.
Yo, what's up, you guys? It's Pauly Shore. Just got out of the shower. My hair's wet, wanting it to dry for you guys, but I said, screw it, I'll do the cameo. Just like this, dudes. What's up? What's up, bros? Look at the beard. Yo, Gary, what's up?
Hi, Gary. It's Cameron from The Young and the Restless.
Hi! This is a message to Gary from Gilbert Gottfried.
Hi, Gary.
What up, Gary? I'm Wesley Snipes.
Gary! Oh, it's Farla Jean Merman, honey.
Hey, what's up, Gary?
Hey, Gary. Will Purdue. How are you, my friend?
Hey Gary, it's Sam Coleman here. I play young Hodor in Game of Thrones.
Hey Gary, what's going on, man? It's Kerry Wynn, defensive end for the New York Giants.
I know you're going through a rough time right now, and I'm so sorry to hear about your struggles. Stay strong. I know it's hard during this time, but it seems like you have an amazing, amazing teammate.
And I remember through my 13 years of the NBA, my 5 years in college at Vanderbilt, I had a lot of challenges. I didn't back down from any of them. Some of them I failed at, and a lot of them I succeeded at. And I'm not just talking about on the basketball court.
If any of that ever gets you a little too down, I invite you out to see one of my shows where I'll be more than happy to help relieve some of that stress.
And we're wheezing the juice. That's all we have to do. We're wheezing the juice, as we like to say in Encino Man. Wheezing the juice. Ooh.
You deserve everything you get. Excuse me, sorry, it's a little 419.
Work hard, be focused, man. Never give up. All right, man. Good luck, man.
Heard you're a huge Giant fan. Really appreciate you. God bless you.
Hope you're doing good. You want a banana, dude? Later, Gary.
Hit it. Hit it, man.
They walk a click.
Matt Watson for that. That was great.
Wow. That is touching. And it's Hollywood is a very small town in a way, because I know the guy that does Pauly Shore's cameo.
I had no idea you knew
Is that?
I had no idea you knew all those famous people, Gary. I'd like to apologize.
Thank you, Sean. I accept your apology.
We don't have to fight on the 7th.
Let's get a coffee.
Yeah, if you could just have Wesley Snipes call me.
Yeah, I'll forward.
I want to be a part of the. I want to be a part of the Daywalker clique.
That was a lovely video, and I really enjoyed it. And we have our final guest to bring us home. First time that she has ever appeared on this show, and she is so funny. She's running a couple things. She's part of the Bechdel cast. She is going to be doing a new Instagram Live series, Movie Talk with Caitlin on Instagram Live. And she is actually my teacher in a screenwriting class, which I highly recommend, which you can check out on Eventbrite. Please welcome Caitlin Durante, everybody!
Hi.
You teach.
Hello, student. I'm so sorry to hear you're going through a difficult time, according to, I don't remember which person said it, but I'm so sorry.
Ken Shamrock.
Is that really
One of them was a wrestler.
Oh, really?
Ken Shamrock?
Ken Shamrock?
Yeah.
No.
He's the old, unrecognizable guy.
I was like, who's that?
We all bumped into each other years ago when you were studying in Boston, if I remember correctly. Rob was running the gas, and you were a young comic with stars in your eyes.
God, I put all that behind me, yeah.
We were talking earlier about a time that you, before the show, about a time that you came to do a set at the Gas, and someone that who I know, who you had been on one date with, that was, I don't know if it was a good date or a bad date, but you had material about it. So was there, and you did the joke and called him out, and it was very fun.
Can I tell this story as briefly as possible? Because it's so. What happened is I met this guy. It was back when people were still using OkCupid more frequently. Met him there. We went on a date. It was also back during a time when I had sex on the first date all the time. There was nary a first date that I didn't have sex on. So it was like, this really cool thing I was doing. And so I had sex with this person. And then, but what was weird is that he looks exactly like my best friend, who is a gay man. And he saw, because he was also my roommate at the time. So this guy I went on a date with saw my best friend, and I was like, oh no, he's gonna think that I'm in love with my gay best friend, and I just go find straight guys who look like him to have sex with, so I can pretend like I'm having sex with my gay best friend. He's gonna think that. So then I don't know if I told him about this or not, but that's definitely what the material was about. So I did this whole, and then he was there at the show and he heard this whole thing. So either way, he found out that I had this whole insecurity about it. And I would just like to remind him, because he's out there watching probably, and everyone, that I am not in love with my gay best friend, and I don't try to find people who look like him to have sex with. Please and thank you.
First of all, I can relate to that. I do tend to date a lot of bald women with beards. But also, wasn't there something about upside down Spider-Man kiss in the bit too? Was that?
Yes, and that he was, because like he liked. He like didn't want to see me anymore, and he was just like. And I actually don't remember exactly, but he had like a mask on, and I was like, kiss me, let's kiss. And then I like pulled up, he had like one of those like ski masks on. So I was like, pull it. And then and I was like, haha, it was like the Spider-Man kiss. And he was just like, please, let's not ever see each other again. I didn't know exactly like that, but
why was he wearing a ski mask?
That's between Caitlin and him.
Mm-hmm.
It was winter in Boston. That's why.
Oddly enough, my only weird OkCupid date
was at a pizza restaurant with a bunch of mice.
Yes,
it was a clown of himself.
From when we had the most arrhythmic, non-good feeling sexual encounter of my adult life, from that moment that it ended, and then I got to my car parked 3, maybe 4 houses away, I received a text from her that said, "Please lose my personal information."
Whoa.
And even weirder is that in this coincidence, I looked like her ex-boyfriend who they were on a hiatus because they were in college, but I was thinner. So I felt like I was like the cool, like if I'm Aerosmith, he's like a tribute band. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do know what you're saying.
But
Who cares about Larry Peterson? Here's Gary Peterson.
But this lady's like one of those people that likes the tribute band but doesn't like the original band.
Like Pink Floyd. Caitlin, tell us about your new show.
Well, I've cultivated an entire personality around liking movies. That's really at the crux of my personality. So I now have an Instagram live show that I'm doing every Thursday evening, and I have a guest on and we talk about movies, and it's called Movie Talk with Caitlin. It's incredibly creatively titled. I think you'll all agree. And it's fun. I just did the first one, but I've got guests booked out for the next several weeks, and I think it's probably going to be fine. So.
I think it's going to be great. I mean, I'm in your class. Rob was waitlisted, but I'm in your class, and you know your shit. You were
Rob didn't make weight?
He didn't make weight. Too fat for Zoom.
I was underweight actually, and I was drinking milkshake after milkshake trying to get up the weight.
And then they said, "That ain't right."
You know ins and outs of scripts. You know, like every little piece. You teach it in a very relatable, understandable way for the students that are dumb like me to understand. But you actually worked for studios reading scripts. You've seen a lot of things that the world may never ever see.
Oh, have I? Yes.
Anything you want to kind of dance around?
Can I just get some clarification on this? So by the time you're reading a script, has the studio already purchased it, or is that, someone has said that the studio needs to look at it?
It depends. I've worked as a script reader in different capacities. Sometimes it's for a screenplay contest, which anyone can submit to, of course, as long as they pay whatever fee. And those are probably the worst batch of scripts imaginable. People who are trying to like elevate their whatever by like placing in a contest and things like that. And those have been some really dismal scripts. I read one that was a sequel for Deliverance, and I would bet $1 billion that person did not have the rights to deliver the property of Deliverance, nor did they understand that you would have to get the rights to write the sequel to something like that.
And I feel like we should explain for those that don't know. Deliverance is the story of how Rob Creany was in the woods and just a bunch of fun stuff that he likes to do.
And then he met Gary Peterson.
Yes. So someone stole your guys' story. I'm sorry. But then I've read for production companies, and they won't take like cold submissions. They have to have been approved or sent by the proper channels, usually like a literary agent or something like that. So those scripts tended to be a little bit better, but you'd be surprised. These are people who are represented by an agent who still wrote a terrible script. So that happens a lot as well. But if you take my class, you won't write a terrible script. And that's the Caitlin University guarantee.
That's true. Have you ever? That can't. I mean, me and Gary have been teaching stand-up classes for a long time, and definitely some people just can't take notes.
Definitely. I would say though, in this, I will take a lot of credit for this, even though I shouldn't. A lot of the people who take my class, I think a lot of them already have some kind of background in writing or something creative. Even of the ones who don't, pretty much everyone in my class turns in something pretty good. I've had like 1 or 2 students who are just like, don't, just quit. just quit. But then they keep paying for other levels of my classes, because it is a pyramid scheme as well, my class structure.
I do have to go door to door to tell people about Caitlin. Have you heard the good news?
Gary did try and sell your class to me. So.
But you couldn't make weight. I'm so sorry.
I was too little and hot.
Sean Flanagan, do you have a question?
I have a great idea for a script. It's about this gentleman who records a comedy album. It's not very good.
Your idea is not very good, or the comedy album?
No, the comedy album of the guy inside of the script he's not very good at comedy. But he gets to release an album, much like someone, the people who keep taking your tears.
Mm-hmm.
It's an action story, and he slanders someone. He slanders the wrong guy in his comedy album, and then that guy takes it upon himself to completely decimate this comedian's entire life, destroying everyone he knows with his fists. Yeah,
that's a pretty good pitch.
Goes to his work and punches it down, goes to his car, destroys it with his fists, goes to all the comedy clubs he's ever played, and he chops them all into itty bitty pieces. It's I guess it's an actioner that ends in tragedy, you could say.
I see. Well, who's the protagonist? Is it the comedian or is it the attacker?
Yeah, it's the vengeful guy who was wronged. He's the hero. I was thinking he could be played by Brad Pitt or any Leo DiCaprio or someone of that ilk. It would it'd be like the action tentpole movie of the summer.
That's a promising idea. There's a lot. It's ripe for tension and conflict.
Her process.
Keep working on it. Keep developing.
You have a working title for it?
The Yellow Belt Gets His Revenge.
What if you called it Yellow Belt Competence?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Pretty good.
And that wasn't even a rim shot. That was just a great idea.
Who would you think would play the comedian?
Oh, I thought Gary could play that guy. He's got a lot of experience at terrible comedy. He just released an album. It could be like a cross-promotional thing.
Yeah.
I just don't know if he would make it to set.
Why is that?
They got mice.
Caitlin.
Yes.
People should check out your show on Thursdays. They should check out the Bechdel cast with you and Jamie Loftus. So funny. Been a fan. 4 years. A lot of people have wondered why this album took 5 years to come out, and it's just too long an explanation. So I wrote a sort of like a teaser scene that explains where we're coming from and why it took so long for the album to come out. Exterior, Soldiers Camp, night. 2020 is the bloodiest year of the new American Civil War. Elected as best comedian for a second term, Gary Abraham Peterson stands at the soldiers' encampment following the Battle of Great Scott, a vicious and bloody battle that pushes the rebel forces known as the Confederacy, led by Robert E. Creany.
Where are you from, soldier?
I am from the Massachusetts Saugus 117th, sir. I signed up to fight the Confederacy after I saw you speak at Gettysburg.
I understand the 117th fought very bravely there.
Thank you, sir. We lost many, but for a cause worth fighting. We fight because of your words.
I will end this long and bloody war. I will make your efforts not to have been in vain. Also, aside from being emotionally strong, I am very physically strong.
Peterson lifts the child into the air. He flies through the air to the top of a bell tower, landing on an American flag.
Tally-ho! Wish you were my daddy.
In a divided country, in a divided world, where a masturbatory villain is old and gray, and despite growing up in Easton, Massachusetts, is somehow Southern.
Well, look at what we have here. Mr. Peterson, the great enunciator. Let me ask you how many more have to die under your watch before you surrender to my demands, sir. Your comedy album will never see the light of day.
I like this guy.
What are your terms, Robert E. Crean?
Give up all your ideas and I will take my men and go in peace. You give up comedy and me and my best friends can run this the way it ought to be. Yep, just me and my best friends. Obviously, I mean Crystalia, Jeff Ross, and Bill Cosby. We've got a party unknown at Kevin Spacey's house that's sure to be a funky good time with the spaceman.
It is time for the world to grow. Your time as an oppressive and flaccid cuck has come to an end. This nation, under Gary, shall have a new birth of comedy. A comedy of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.
I say, sir, my hands are gonna start stroking the limp dick of freedom right at you, you no good penny face bitch. I am Robert E. Crean. Shirts to me are just big napkins. Adore my limp dick I call hats brain diapers.
Robert E. Crean begins to reveal his outfit. Under his long robe, a t-shirt that says, "Who sharted?" and an arrow pointing to his dick that poops.
Stop. I can't stop the script. This is, I'm sorry, Caitlin, this is embarrassing. This is very stupid. I've been on this show week in, week out, and Gary just degrades me again and again.
Come on.
It's like I put in a lot of work. I spend so long editing all these stupid fucking videos, and you just use the show to shit on me and make fun of me. Say that I'm friends with Bill Cosby and Crystalia. Notice you didn't put Louis C.K. in there because he's your buddy. This is supposed to be celebrating your album release, and you spent the whole show just shitting on me.
Rob, we're just it's just like a goof. We're just joking.
We're just Alan. Seriously, sad. Where'd you get that idea from? I'm going to tell really long, unfunny, sad stories. That's fucking my thing. Why is this always like this, Gary? Why does it always have to go to this place where you just shit on me and say that I poop out of my dick?
You do stuff like that. Look, you have a shirt just like that, Rob.
Look, Ron.
Rob.
Sorry, Rob. Rob. I think you're right. We've been fighting for too long, and we've been divided. It's time to end this bloody war between us. And, this album, Yellow Belt Confidence, is meant to bring people together, not divide them. I want you to know, Rob, and I really want you to hear me. It's not your fault. It's not your fault, Rob.
I tried so hard. I try to make it so good.
It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
The album is available on deadmellow.com. It's Yellow Belt Confidence. It's a really good album. Gary worked really hard on it, and he.
It's not your fault.
Or deadmellow.com/Gary-Peterson, and you can it's available in CD or download.
Well, I've been afraid of changing 'cause I build my life around you. But time makes you bolder, even children grow older. Rob's getting older too. I'll take my love, take it down. Climbed a mountain and I turned around. And if you see my reflection in the full color, well, a landslide roll me down. And if you see my reflection in the snow-covered
well, the landslide
will bring me down. Everybody.
Oh, the landslide will bring it down.
Thank you, everybody. We did it.
We're gonna beat these charges.
Gary Peterson's debut album, Yellowed Up Confidence, is available now. Deadmellow.com. Find the best in Gary albums and albums that are sad.
Get the whole co-host to co-host catalog.
Carl Lavin, Tim Vargulish.
That's me.
Chris Walsh from Death by Comedy. Katie Baker, Alan Richardson, Matt on guitar, Kayla Durante, my bestest friend, Rob Creany.
Gary
Thanks,
Peterson.
I love everyone.
I like that movie.
I disagree, Gary.